5-Minute Pearls for Clinical Practice. Today we are discussing the pearl of patience. Hello, this is Dr. Brian Morris, and this is 5-Minute Pearls for Clinical Practice, where you will learn the tools to provide exceptional care for your patients. This is the weekly podcast where you will be introduced to time-tested, evidence-based patient care strategies that aren't always taught in schools or training programs, but are nonetheless crucial for success in clinical practice. And each podcast episode is about 5 minutes. This week is the second in a series of 3 podcast episodes where we discuss what I consider to be the 3 most important attitudes to have in clinical practice. These are the 3 P's that are vitally important attitudes for us to have in clinical practice. In the last episode, I discussed perseverance, meaning that we remain steady in a course of action and purpose despite difficulties and obstacles that may come our way. We need to continue to work to improve the health of each of our patients, even when they don't always follow our instructions or take good care of themselves. And in that last episode, we discussed that having the perseverance and the endurance to stay on message with our patients is one of the most important gifts that we can bring to each patient encounter. The second attitude that I want to discuss is the second P, and this is called patience. Of course, this patience is spelled differently than our patients that we take care of. This patience is P-A-T-I-E-N-C-E. I learned this many years ago, and it was taught to me by my grandmother, Ruth. I remember sitting with my brother, Kevin, at my grandparents' house and sitting at their dinner table and listening to Grandma Ruth teach us life lesson after life lesson. The one lesson that she would always get to eventually, no matter what, was she would say something like, "Brian, always remember the keys to a successful life are patience and perseverance." This always stuck with me, frankly, because I heard it so many times, but also because it actually rang true for me. Grandma Ruth spoke to me about perseverance, and we covered that last week, but let's also touch on the second component that Grandma Ruth taught me, patience. Patience here means that we accept or tolerate delays, troubles, frustrations without getting angry or upset. When our patients don't follow our recommendations to take better care of themselves or follow some of our treatment recommendations, we understand that change takes time, and improving the health of the people that we work with takes a ton of patience. To stay focused on the people that we're taking care of long term involves both patience and perseverance. Patience ultimately means we accept the way things are right now. We may prefer that things were different, but the way things are right now are the way things are right now, and we accept that that is the current reality. And we don't get frustrated that those things aren't perfect today. In our hearts, we know that people can do better and will do better if we provide them with sound medical care and continue to provide them with messages of hope and belief that they can take better care of themselves over time. Perseverance means that we stay steady in our course of action and purpose in spite of our patients not always following our advice. As Grandma Ruth taught me, long-term success requires both of these skills, patience and perseverance. The patience to accept that things aren't perfect, and the perseverance to continue to believe that we all can do better over time. Patience and perseverance work hand in hand, moment to moment, day to day. With each office visit, with each day at the clinic, we need to practice having the patience and perseverance to continue to show the people that we work with the hope that they can do better. Our patients can eat healthier. They can exercise more consistently. They can improve their relationships at work and in their personal lives. They can give up that habit they've been struggling with for so many years. Even if they've tried and failed a dozen times, they can still try again and again and perhaps succeed next time. Grandma Ruth taught me that's how life works. It works in our personal relationships, and it also works in clinical practice. Give your patients the gift of your patience and your perseverance, and you'll see remarkable things happen in the lives of the people you touch. Next week, we will discuss the third attitude vitally important in clinical practice. It will be another P. Stay tuned for that episode. But in the meantime, try practicing more patience and perseverance in your clinical practice. The next time you see a patient who still hasn't stopped smoking or still hasn't taken the medication that you prescribed, have the patience and perseverance to maintain your belief that that person can try again and just might succeed next time. Even when things get really frustrating in clinical practice, accept that today is not perfect, but hold steady in your belief that tomorrow can be better. Let's keep the dialogue going. Let me know what you think of this week's Pearl for Clinical Practice. You can email me at drmorris@5minutemd.com. That's DRMORRIS at 5minutemd.com. You can post your comments and your experiences on the 5-Minute MD Facebook page. You can actually also post comments on the 5-Minute MD website now, which is at 5minutemd.com. And also you can follow us anytime on Twitter at Brian Morris MD. Let your friends and your colleagues know about the podcast, and you may want to make sure that you're subscribed on iTunes. If you're subscribed on iTunes, you will receive future podcast pearls as soon as they are posted to iTunes. Thank you so much also for all the wonderful feedback and support that we are receiving. And of course, stay tuned for future podcast pearls. And until then, I will see you at the next 5.